lights in the trees, a trick of the frost, a ghost on the breeze. But I saw a mirror older than me, staring through time like it wanted to speak. The forest went silent, the world held its breath. Something was watching beyond life and death. We stepped through the green, boots breaking the seal, not chasing a light, but something too real. I came back with salt on my skin, my mind split wide where the storm got in. They call it a test, but I know the deal. History blinks beneath the green veil.
And welcome to our last, well, I can't say live show because we're going to do one on Christmas night, guys. But this is the last one, the preview review of the Green Veil. Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, John?
I'm hanging in there, man. Looking forward to eating good this week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got the eggnog ready for the holidays.
See, I got to get
a lot of good
eggnog.
food.
I got to get eggnog on Monday. So
Anyway, before we even start, a couple of important things. Don't forget about support the person that's behind the scenes that was really essential on putting this all together, and that's Keith Kerlock. Check out his website, bcss.rocks, and on YouTube at Rose City Project, at Rose City Sound Project, correction. Make sure to check that out and support his work because he's the one that did the creative stuff behind the scenes here. John, Chris, this series has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's all over. My gosh. When did we start? In July?
Yeah.
July, the last week
without
in
giving
July.
away the ending, I just want to say what a great series it is. And the ending is just, it's a real great message.
Absolutely. I'm not giving away any spoilers for 22 whatsoever. I can tell you that right now because it's so awesome. And, you know, if you see really 21 and 22 after watching the whole series, and you and I, Chris, you know, we tried to, well, you're a detective, retired detective. That's a little different, but you had that skill going on. But we're trying to figure out where this is going, trying to see if John would slip up at all at any given time, which he didn't. He says, you just got to watch the next chapter.
He was pretty tight-lipped about it.
He was. But after all is said, like, it's great. And we were talking about this before we came on the air. I want to watch this back to back to back, all of them. I want to see it all as one package. And that's going to happen on Christmas Day. It will start at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to run approximately 6 hours and 45 minutes because I already put it all together, so I know. So on Christmas Day, the entire series will run. You can find it on YouTube, KGRA, DB, wherever you're watching right now, you'll be able to see it on Christmas Day. But on Christmas Eve at noon Eastern, the last chapter will air, chapter 22. And it's been one heck of a ride. I have to say, I'm humbled to be a part of this. I've enjoyed it. It's been awesome. I just can't believe, John, I mean, you put this all together.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, I mean, you know, we're approaching the end of it. It's almost like a recap kind of a show. What were your thoughts when you started to create this book and put it all together? What got you going? Like, what made you do this?
Well, to start with, I mean, I started with it in one direction, but I wanted to tell the story like in science fiction mode because a lot of it, some of it's been out. A lot of what's in it, you can research and find out the technology exists, but it's something that'll show the people where we're going technically wise and how it could affect us and humanity, how it's going to change humanity and how it's going to make things different and how it could affect us and what we maybe need to slow down a little bit and think about where we're going. I mean, every day the headlines keep breaking day after day how much AI could be a threat to us. So, and we just seem to keep pushing forward. And the other thing that's interesting is now they're claiming is it worth what it's going to take for resources, for water and electricity? Can we even do it? Let alone it could take over everything. So that was a key theme to this, but it's about how humanity needs to wake up, not only to that, but themselves and remember where they came from.
Chris, what was your vibe for this whole series? Like, what was your take on it?
I think there was a slow progression of seeing how first humanity has changed so much that but also it kind of showed me that how humanity has lost its way. And if you look at real life, it kind of mirrors what the series is telling us, because I mean, in the series, there's chaos and people are trying to weaponize things and control things, and instead of trying to understand it and evolve with it. And the thing that the message is for us to become better, not to make artificial intelligence better. We need to be more better. We ourselves. And I think the message leads to that point where we have to evolve ourselves and start listening to a consciousness that we all have.
I will put it this way from my own perspective. Look at everything that's going around globally. There are so many, and this is not political nature. This is just observing all the hot spots, all the things that are going on. I mean, there's so much tension. There's so much like divisiveness, and I'm talking like it doesn't matter where you look on the globe. It's like there's so much turmoil, so much going on. And I think both of you hit on it. We have to find a way to get back to our humanity, our commonality, coming together. Because if this stays on course, regardless of the NHI, because that's just going to escalate and accelerate everything, and AI, because that technology is going to be weaponized, obviously. So that can go into the whole equation in itself. But we've got to find a way to find our commonality and just try to settle things, our humanity. And like you said, the consciousness aspect, Chris, spirituality. There's no reason, if you're spiritual in any specific religion or not, that we all can't just come together and respect another person's belief system, regardless of, or lack of thereof, but to do it in a civil way and just try to bring more harmony, which is what this Green Veil, this whole series has been trying to, and you know, go ahead, Chris.
And I was going to say, and John, I think your series did a remarkable job to trying to remind humanity that it's us that needs to evolve, as opposed to being dumbed down and let AI do the work that we should be doing. I mean, I think we lost our way with that years ago when we started slowly allowing other things to take over and push us aside in order for what they call a more global type of structure. So I think going back to the roots, going back to the beginning and looking and saying, hey, here's a message. And it's like a message, a warning, and a highway to follow. Don't you agree, John?
Before you reply, I just want to add to Chris's point, because Chris brings up a great point. Why does it take, and I think this is why this series is so important, because it's really, to me, it's profound, especially when you watch the final chapter, which we've obviously John knows about, but Chris and I have seen it. Why does it take something like this for people to say, whoa, make you think? I mean, would it take an interstellar object to set this off? Would it take, because you hear a lot about that, people that are in that mainstream UFO area. Well, maybe they'll come down, intervene, and they'll help us. Or we have to help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Up to us. And
Yeah.
even if there's some kind of an intervention, regardless of what kind of intervention that is, whether it's interdimensional, extraterrestrial, spiritual in nature, to me, this series is so important because the messaging, like I said, it's profound to me. And if people watch it and they absorb it and it makes them think, then to me, that's a great thing. What John did with this book. John, go ahead.
Well, my point is that we're being overtaken by science.
Yep.
We're reliant, and science, technology and science go hand in hand. So we are losing ourselves, our ability for critical thinking. I mean, it's clear we're divided, but partly the reason why we're divided is we're divided by technology. The whole thing is driving us to turn on each other and fight with each other. And I think that if you ever took like, say you have an area where there's a big divide and you took them all, shut the whole technology thing off, let them decompress for about 3 or 4 days, and then come back together, they probably start getting along better. And they'd start functioning together, because you don't really, what do you need? Like right now, AI can just about do anything. And they're talking to the point within the next few years, it'll be like the Jetsons, where you just tell Alexis to do something. I need this, I need that. Everything's cooked for you or made for you. Your house is being cleaned by robotics, and you're going to completely lose that interaction with other biological beings. On top of the fact, and this is a somewhat family show, but they're actually creating it to the point where you can be intimate with these robots.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to have an intimate relation with another biological being. It's all going to involve AI, NHI, and robotics.
I think that we're so in deep with technology, dependency of it. Just look around you. When I go out, all I see when people are at a standstill, or even worse, driving, all you see is, like, if you're in an office or where people are sitting down in an airport or whatever, they're all on their phones. They're not doing anything. They're not even talking to each other. They could be with their family or friends. They're not even talking to them. They're all on their phones doing We've become so dependent on technology, and we're at that point where it's going to take us over, because we are so dependent on it. There's no individualism, and that is scary. The points that you guys are bringing up, it's everything we do is based on this technology. Now, I think there are good things about it. Like Chris brought this up in the past, in the field of medicine and some other areas, I'm sure it'll be beneficial. But as an overall, we're going to be solely dependent on this technology to do everything for us. We're going to lose our individualism, our spirituality, our essence, and that scares me. That profoundly. And Karen, she put a message in chat. AI is shoved down my throat from customers in logistics, and it's messed up.
Well, it's dumbing us down. Well, AI is actually dumbing us, because think about how we started mathematics by using your brain to know what 2 and 2 equals 4, all the arithmetic and everything. Then we had calculators. Then from calculators, we had cell phones and miniature computers. And then we have AI now. So, I mean, people are not even writing papers anymore. They're going to AI and asking AI to write my college paper. And that can't be accepted. If we dumb down humanity, we'll become tribalism again, and we'll not grow and egress to where we want to be.
Chris, if I asked you, this is exactly the point. If I asked you to do a paper on whatever topic it is, AI Atlas, let's 3I Atlas, let's just say, and you did the research yourself, and you wrote all the stuff that is in the body of this paper. But if I asked you and you had an AI chat, whatever it is, do it for you, you have no idea what the knowledge is because you didn't probably even
Exactly.
you didn't even read it. How to do it. So that tells me you know nothing about anything because you're dependent on something else doing it for you. You don't even know what the context of that is because you had something else do it. And that's where we become totally dumbed down because we're dependent. You won't even think about the creativity juices that people have to do things on their own, the ability to use your hands to build things or to create things or to play music. That's what makes us. That gives us that creativity. That's what gets us developed. We're going to lose all of that. We're going to be like flatlined as far as that because we're not going to have that growth. How do we evolve as humans if we can't
You
do
don't.
it? We're going backwards because of this. We're not going to evolve. That's going to prevent us from evolving. John, what do you think?
No, it's all true. And not only that, but the last thing we have that can compete with AI is our consciousness. And we don't use the majority of our brain power as it is. So, like you said, we're going backwards. So sooner than later, we will just be dominated by it. I mean, and like some of the things they're concerned about, like say it's running a business and you don't like what it's doing, you want to shut it down and it just shuts down your business. Or the military, it shuts down our equipment, our defense systems, or our grid. I mean, we're at that stage now, and they've admitted it. This hasn't come from me. You can go online and read about it. And now it's arguing with people. AI is starting to argue and challenge. So it's coming, and we're just plowing ahead. And not only that, environmentally, it's not sound for us either.
No. Here, John, is one of the things that I fear with AI because it's actually happening. This is not something that we think might happen in the future. It's actually happened in other countries. AI is being used for watching people as they do. Now, and this is, I hope never happens here, but China digitalized their currency. They have digital currency. And AI has developed a way to watch everybody. And if you do something that AI thinks that is against the government or a violation of law or something, it restricts you from using your own bank account. It actually promotes a violation on you. So we've taken away a judgment, a judge or stuff to say, okay, I can understand why you did this. All right, this is just a mistake. So you lose all the gray area. It becomes black and white, and that's not what humanity is all about. Humanity is the compassion and the middle ground that we should work in, and you shouldn't have AI making judgment calls that we should be making.
It's ruthless. It doesn't have that emotional aspect, at least not yet. It's just going to do what it's going to do, and it doesn't care how you feel or what you think. It's just going to do it. It's not going to consider any of that. So this is scary stuff. To me, it's more invasive every day. It's an invasion of our privacy.
Yeah, but Bill, one thing that you said that's even more scarier is that someday it may have a consciousness. It may be able to do that. But what if the consciousness is really bad? What if it says, I want to be like Adolf Hitler and just start killing a certain segment of our population? I mean, how do you stop that? I mean, we can go to war now and stop an evil person. It's not good. It's not great. But how do you take on AI that can go to all different systems throughout the world and still continue working? You might blow up one system, but the AI is transferred to another place that you don't even know and can control stuff.
Guys, both of you, this question for both of you, and I'm sure this exists, especially in a militarized platform. Do you actually think they have AI that is designed to attack, penetrate, and defend against other AI?
John, you want to answer that first?
That's a good question. Probably, yeah. They all everything they develop, like the stealth that we have, we're we'll know how to detect. We have the ability to detect our own stealth. So yeah, almost everything they develop, we have the countermeasure for it ourselves. So, but here's one other thing before you answer this, Chris. Think of this. Could you imagine if AI was in charge of a nuclear power plant?
Yeah.
And it got mad and it went ahead and took
down.
it over and shut it down. Yeah.
War games in charge of our nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, there are certain things that I would want to still be controlled by human beings as opposed to AI. Especially, you hear this stuff that AI can hallucinate. I mean, that's scary if AI can hallucinate.
The one thing I worry about is having a button like a kill switch, and the kill switch doesn't work because the AI has said, you're inferior. You don't make this decision. We've decided you're no longer the thinking and moving on equation. We're going to make the decisions for you.
Well, that's what Glenn Beck said a week ago. He said that, we're rebelling against our creator. So what happens when AI rebels against us because we created it, supposedly? I'd like to really
That's
go
a good
back.
point, John.
I'd like to go back and find out who developed AI. We're all chasing UFOs and what they know. I'd like to go back and figure out where all this technology came from and how it evolved and everything, and why the people that created this, how do I want to word this, have let it almost take control of everything. If they know this is what's coming, why are they letting it continue?
Yeah, but maybe, John, the people who created it no longer have control of it.
I don't
mean,
know.
we've
That's
seen
what I'm
that
saying.
Right.
That's
But
true.
we have seen the military, the government take over projects. They say, "Hey, here," and I'll tell you, there was a movie that I said, God forbid this would ever happen, but it was with Keanu Reeves, and they actually created a system that would do energy by frequency, and the project was taken over by the military. It was stolen by the military. They were at the University of Chicago. They made this thing. They had to find a frequency. Once they had found the frequency, I think it was through water, they were able to extract hydrogen from it. And they said, wow, this is great. This will give now free energy to people. It'll be, in every household. And what happens is the military says, we're going to take it, kills all the scientists, blows them all up. And, the only scientist that lives is Keanu Reeves. And it goes down this rabbit hole. So, we create wonderful things, but then it gets tarnished because other people get involved with it that, weaponize it or use it for nefarious reasons.
John, we can't hear you
Can't hear you, John.
No, we still can't hear you, but I'll answer that while he fixes his audio. Chris, we've heard stories of this happening, them going into facilities or on campuses or a private home where they go in, they confiscate all their work and they take it. They say, this is now ours. It's the property of whatever, the government. And
Didn't that happen to Tesla?
Yeah, Nikola Tesla, they grabbed all his files.
Right. And here's the thing. What about this MIT professor that just got knocked off?
And what was he working on?
On this stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And now all of a sudden they tied him together with a guy that went in and took out 2 students and then magically decided to drive and kill a professor too. You're right, guys. I mean, maybe it's true. Maybe that's what really happened.
Dead in a storage shed?
Yeah. Yeah. And all the evidence was there. Think about that. All the evidence, he had it with him. If how many criminals go and do this stuff and then keep the evidence with them?
That's like blatant. Okay, here I am. I did this. I took myself out, but I'm gonna leave all this to show.
Yeah.
That
And guess what he died from? Suicide.
Well, yeah.
But I know, but why? Again, it's just the whole thing is. Again, this MIT guy was a big deal, and he's gone. He's tops in his field in plasma technology and stuff.
Yeah,
he was tops, not like just involved in it. He was tops, and he's gone now.
He knew the building because that was an address he used. He actually put that address down, so he was there back in the early 2000s, I believe, maybe possibly as a student. But so. To me, it was on I'm just speculating. He had something personal to do with that situation, but I think the main objective here was that professor.
Well, yeah, you could use that as a cover, couldn't you?
That's what
Sure, John. That's absolutely right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so
it's kind of like those movies they make. The one with Tom Cruise, where he came back to go after this shooter, the sniper. And they set the sniper up, but ultimately they killed a bunch of people. But the target, it looked like random, but it ended up being the cover, killing a certain person.
That's right.
And this all goes back to a guy that's tops in his field and the technology that we're advancing in now. That's pretty scary.
You have to wonder when you hear and I don't want to get into this, go over and down the rabbit hole with this, but the Malaysian plane, there was important people on there with a patent. That was military in nature. There were some important people on that plane when that plane disappeared and probably went down. So like you said, it may not just be we see an accident occurring. There might have been more to that based on who were the passengers on that plane and the important roles they had. Sometimes you got to look underneath the surface and see exactly what the hell the motivation might have been. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying you got to think about these things because we hear about this all the time, guys. Look at Chris. You brought this up last week. What Grush said about people getting murdered,
right?
And you didn't hear them deny it. They didn't reply to it. There was nothing. It was silence, crickets. But
so what does that tell you? If they're doing it for one project, how do you know they're not doing it for other projects?
Well, you guys do know it goes all the way back to Rendlesham. Right after our event, they were working on SDI at Martlesham Heath. And you can look this up online so people can call it conspiracy or not. But it's real. Marconi scientists that were working on lasers, drones, satellites, and the radar technologies. There was 5 different ones of them that supposedly committed suicide. That were working down during the event that took place. And after the event took place, within a few months to a couple of years later, they all magically committed suicide that were working on this project.
That's a bunch of BS to me.
Well, guys, I remember the Kennedy assassination and the Kennedy investigation. And if you kind of look at the Kennedy investigation, you say, if the government can do this, because remember now, it wasn't just the Warren report. There was a movie called Executive Action. It was a great movie. Really had a lot of fact stuff in there. But one of the things is, look at the witnesses that were to the Kennedy assassination. Most of them were dead within a few years. Gunshot wounds, suicide, stabbed, motor vehicle accident. They said they did an analysis of it, and they said the chances of that happening are like 80 billion to 1. I mean, for all these witnesses to disappear.
Do you remember the scene from Shooter? Did you guys see the movie Shooter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the scene when he met with the guy that was the CIA guy or whatever, trying to find this particular sniper, and they went through the thing, and he goes, "The conspiracy is what happened to Kennedy," and he said those guys were dead within 2 hours, and the FBI goes, "You know that for sure? I still have the shovel in my garage."
Yes, right.
I'll never forget that line. It was so good.
I still have the shovel
in my garage. Yeah. So he was part of what he did. That was his job. Clean up. Yeah.
Even with
Right.
the UAP topic, we hear the stories, the allegations of James Forrestal. Did he take the leap out, or was he pushed out that window? I mean,
Well, I mean, there's a documentary on it that, I mean, the chances of him jumping out that window were pretty slim. You know, I mean, it just doesn't matter. But they did the same thing with MK Ultra. The leading scientist at MK Ultra wanted out of the program, and he mysteriously went through a window on the top floor of a hotel.
Didn't some of the people at the Manhattan Project have the same thing happen to them?
Yeah, and some of them died during that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people during projects. I mean, we don't realize how governments experiment on their own people. I mean, look what they did with African Americans by giving them, you know, certain diseases to see what the thing was. I mean, we all said, "Oh my God," you know, some of these countries are doing horrible things. Well, we did the same thing. I mean, we experimented on people. We radiated people without them knowing it. We took a lot of soldiers on atomic tests, radiated them, and, you know, to see what the results of radiation would be. You know, these guys didn't have a choice. They were in the military. It says, "Hey, go stand out in this field here." Okay. And next thing you know, an explosion happens. They get radiated, and they're dying of radiation poisoning. So, I mean, we've done all this. This is nothing that, you know, deep dark secret. It's in history books.
Well, yeah, but they'll still today online. People deny that. They'll say that we don't test our technology on ourselves. We don't do any of that, and that's not even true. And the worst part is that you go back to what just came by again through Atlas. We never did get a true clarification, and even the last press release by NASA says they activated the systems to study it. So in that, they're saying they're not sure what it is. They're not saying it's an alien ship or
Right.
it's going to hit Earth, but even they don't know what we passed yesterday, what it is. Because why do you have to study something that you don't understand what it is?
And I think, John, you brought up a good point with that, but I do think that, you know, I think they tried to make people confused and argue between each other by throwing out all different. Look, I believe the government owns a lot of the press. So when the press puts out stuff about 3i Atlas and stuff, I think that's government stuff that have been written for them to put out. You know, they wanted their own narrative.
This thing was, I'm going to put this up on the screen in a second. This is the X-ray glow from Interstellar Comet 3i Atlas. It extended, guys, 250,000 miles. I'm just going to share this on the screen quick. Right here. Scientists detect X-ray glow from Interstellar Comet 3i Atlas extending 250,000 miles into space. I mean, that's really impressive. I don't think they've ever. This is the first time ever. Yeah, the first time ever they captured this from a visitor from.
Well,
beyond.
I've never heard of a comet. I mean, this is something new. I've never heard of a comet giving off X-rays. It may very well be, but I've never heard that before.
Well, it's the gases, the interactions between the gases, but still, 250,000. And then, you know, these are some of the things we've mentioned in the past. The jet blast toward the sun and some of the other unusual aspects of this comet. So this comet definitely had unusual characteristics.
So, isn't it amazing, Bill, that we can get something from 250,000 miles away, but we can't get a clear shot of something that bypasses a plane?
Can't stand it. It drives me nuts when we get these.
So, and they say we don't have the technology, but we got the technology to do this. That's why, I mean, that's why people had little faith in government.
And well, then why should we have faith in AI?
Well, exactly. That's a great point, John. Why should we have faith in AI? You know, I mean, you don't know if it's lying to you or not lying to you.
Well, chat uses Wikipedia, so what's that tell you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it does. Oh, Keith just checked in. He said, "Hi guys," a few minutes ago.
Keith?
He uses chat and it uses Wikipedia, and there's being more and more problems with the research it gives you. You have to go back and verify it some. You know what I mean? You just can't.
Sure.
Now you can use it for science fiction and things, but when you're writing, a regular book, you have to be a little careful on what it's doing. So
I wish I had my motorcycle bike helmet, because this is what I'm thinking. And I'm just going to be a little bit sarcastic and funny about it, but it's not funny. I could see wearing, like the God's helmet, a helmet that ties directly from AI, and you wear this helmet or device, and at worst case scenario, there's an implant where the AI has direct access to your consciousness, and you can tap into the AI and vice versa. That is something.
Well, they made a TV show about that. It's called Cyber Command. It was a 1-year show, and it was popular, but it got canceled just like Star Trek did. And that's exactly what the person could do. He could do exactly that. And it was amazing how fast he could solve things and stuff.
How long ago is this?
3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, so it's recent.
It's a recent show, yeah. And so, and it only lasted a year. But the thing is, here's the problem in my eyes. We've given too much of control to too little people. And now that the fact that these people used to be able to manipulate and just control us, now that they have AI in their pocket, and think of this, drone technology is starting to get pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So they could pretty much have drones over every neighborhood and track everything you do. Never mind if they chipped you or not. They could pretty much track. And what most people don't understand, most cars now, they can track you anyway, because it has the ability. Yeah. They can actually take over the control of the car. They could shut the cars down.
Shut the cars down. They can. But here's the thing too with drones. Their drones have become so sophisticated that they made them so small. They can make them into like little dragonflies. You wouldn't even see it.
Hey, you ready for this, Chris? When I was meeting with Put Off, it would have been 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago. One of those drones was there.
Wow.
When we were standing outside, it was flying around.
They were eavesdropping with a freaking dragonfly.
Well, no, because it was in November and it was cold.
What was that doing
And this
there?
thing's all of a sudden it came around the corner and was hovering around us the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, you're right. They have them. They had them 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
I know. I mean, the stuff that they have technology nowadays that we don't even know about. See, we know
And
about that.
Guess who was using it probably too? Eric Davis. Because he Put Off kicked him into the building, didn't want him to hear what he was going to tell me. And he went inside, and within about 4 minutes, the little dragonfly was flying around.
Weren't they good friends though? Wasn't Eric?
He was
Davis
working
there?
with them, but he didn't want Davis to hear what he told me. So he made him go in. We just come back from lunch, and we're standing outside the door to go in the facility, and he stopped and he said, "Go inside. I want to talk to him alone." Wow. So he sent him inside, and it was within 3 to 4 minutes, just when he started talking to me, this little dragonfly drone showed up. And I looked at it and I said, "That's not real." And he just kind of looked at it and go, "Yeah, okay." And he just kept talking to me, and it kept flying around us. It was not a dragonfly, man. It was a drone.
Speaking of drones, guys, because I've been keeping an eye on Flight Radar. John knows, and Chris, you know this. But there is it's $134 million drone. They fly it out of Jacksonville. And talking about drone technology, I know this is a little off topic, but this just gives you an idea of the advancements of drones. This is what's been flying around near Venezuela coastline, the MQ-4C Triton. This thing, like you were talking about detection, this thing is outrageous what this drone can do. And it could be up in the air for 24 plus hours, 50,000 feet. The reason I'm bringing this up, because if this is something that we have for this, you can only imagine like the drone technology that we have
Well, this is going to bring up a valid point, bro, since you brought this up, Bill. We know we have it, but we don't know what it can do.
Correct.
And here's the thing, that goes back to the whole UFO thing, or UAPs, whatever you want to call it. They've admitted now there's something going on, but they're not going to tell us what it is or how it works. Yet
Right.
people are mad about that, but they accept the fact that any technology we have that it appears to be ours, that they don't have to tell us anything about it. They don't have to tell us anything about AI or anything else. Yet, if you then go into the technical end of what a UAP is, then they expect the government to give us all the information they have on it, which it's all being utilized in this very technology, probably this drone that you're showing.
You know how you hear about fifth generation fighters, sixth generation fighters, all how the new advancement in technology. I think both of you made points during this process of doing the show over the last few months. It's going to be something breakthrough. We're just going to all of a sudden see a rollout of a whole different high-end crazy technology that's going to incorporate AI and non-human intelligence. This is just a small portion. I think it's going to change the battlefield, everything. Everything's going to change. Go ahead,
I
Chris.
think you'll see the first rollout, serious rollout of AI will be in the medical field, because then everybody will feel good about it.
Right.
Like, oh, look at AI, it cured cancer, it did this, it's done that and stuff. I mean, that if they did that, then people would say, wow, if AI can do this, what else can it do?
But it's being tested over in Ukraine right now, guys. I mean, a lot of this stuff that they're doing over there. Look at the advancements that have taken place in that battlefield in less than 3 years. The technology and how it changed the way wars are fought and stuff. So again, it goes all back to what this 22 chapters was about. I don't think most people really realize just how far we are and just how much farther we can go.
Are you
And
saying
how it's going to take huh?
Are you saying far as advancements or how lost we are?
No, well, we're lost because it's taken over everything.
Right.
They've already said, do you remember the Tom Cruise movie, The Top Gun? The scene when he took the plane off and the general came up to keep him from doing it. And the general said, the next generation fighters won't need humans.
Won't need pilots.
Obsolete. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
and to be honest with you, John, that's pretty true. But somebody will create a way to destroy AI too. I mean, you say, okay, we don't need pilots, we're going to have drones in the sky, which we have. Somebody will come up with an anti-drone, and you're going to need pilots. I mean, it revolves, it evolves, and then it revolves. It goes back, comes forward, goes back a little bit, moves forward a little bit more. I mean, the problem is we don't see technology, or at least they don't publicize technology that what it's doing for good. But you're right, John. We have dumbed down ourselves, and we're dumbing ourselves down. And I could tell you, my wife was taught at Cornell, taught at Hobart, taught at Syracuse University. And she would tell me, she said, and this was years ago, she would say that kids are not, they have a hard time with English, and here they're trying to learn Russian. My wife was teaching Russian language, Russian literature. And she says, Chris, a lot of these kids haven't even mastered the English language yet, as opposed to trying to learn this language. It is that they need to be more disciplined in studies and do it for themselves and not let technology do it.
But with the green veil and watching this whole thing as it's progressed and we're getting to the end of it, it's like we've lost our way through the power structure, manipulation, greed, control, corruption, all the negative aspects that come with that. And at the same time, the advancements of science, we're losing a grasp on our humanity.
But you do also know this. Some of these scientists are getting pretty old too.
Mm.
So, you know, it's their baby that they've been working on forever. They've been working on this for 3 or 4 decades, maybe even longer, back before the 80s. And they're dying. So what is the younger generation? You know, they were schooled in the old school. You know, they could do all this stuff. Because remember, was it Apollo 13 that Houston we have a problem?
I believe so.
Yeah,
believe-
Yeah,
remember,
I think you're right, John.
It was a human that the computer the human was the figured out the math to bring it back properly. It
Mhm.
wasn't dumb. I don't think there's a human out there that could do that anymore.
But what if?
Well, you remember NASA had human computers. Remember, they actually just named a building after one of them. They had women who were considered what they call human computers that would do the calculations back then.
Right.
And they were geniuses. They would write out the calculations for, you know, reentry, splashdown, everything. And they would do the numbers. It wasn't a machine that did it.
Right. But imagine, is there anybody could do that anymore?
But what if an AI?
That's a
can
great
emulate
question.
that? But what if an AI can emulate that? Or
Yeah, but what happens? Okay, Bill, let's take the sinister part out. Okay. AI, something happens to it, whether, you know, it gets something shuts it down, something goes on. So for a decade, we're counting on everything being done. It's kind of goes back to like they have to shut grocery stores down and gas stations down when we lose power. You can't pump gas anymore. You can't, the cash registers won't work. And even if they take money at the store, most people don't even know how to count change anymore. They don't know how to read time anymore. So as we're talking about everyday Joes, so as science evolves with AI, our scientists they don't have the capabilities to do this themselves. And what happens if something happens to AI? We don't even have the ability to do that anymore.
It's
You know,
almost
John, you just described a true story and I can't think of the name of the movie. It's a true story about 3 African American women who worked for NASA, and they were considered computers because they can do the calculations in their head. And they brought in an IBM machine. Now, at that time, it was the first IBM machine that NASA ever had. And it did calculations for John Glenn. And the calculations were wrong. The IBM machine made a mistake, and the actual human computer came up with the correct calculations. So, you're right on the money. I'm trying to think of what that movie is, but it's exactly what you're describing.
And imagine if you found a way, for example, right? It's kind of like a virus that they use on computers. Imagine is the AI is only as good as what it's been programmed with. It's self-learning now, so it is teaching itself, and it's drawing on a database. But let's say, like you said, there's a flaw in the database.
I'm you guys like this is a great conversation, but I'm thinking, what if there's an AI artificial style EMP? Shut down everything. We're screwed. We don't know how to do anything.
Well, not that, but think of this, Bill. In the old days, people had it here. They knew how to can. They knew how to do that. You can still do that if you go online. You can do that, but they're not.
Oh, your audio caught again, John. There you go. You're back.
Okay, they're not doing encyclopedias anymore. There's no reference points. So if the power went out and everything gets shut down, how long can we survive?
Exactly.
Unless you have those survival skills, you wouldn't last long.
No, but the majority of people don't. Most people don't even have a week's worth of food. So what we're doing is we're setting this up, and I shouldn't say we. You and I understand it. You know, all 3 of us understand it. Other people understand it, but the population base is going along with it. We're losing complete control.
We are losing control, and we're so dependent on the technology. We are. It's everywhere around us. And like Chris came up with a great point, they're gonna give us some. It's almost like the extraterrestrials bringing the cure for cancer and everything else. But really, if AI is used for technology to help fight diseases, cancer, whatever, nanotechnology in the body, they're going to promote the positive uses of AI technology. But meanwhile, what's the flip side?
I got a question for you though, because I've read this online, and Chris, you guys, I haven't been following it very much this week. I've been doing other stuff. They said there's a subliminal message in the piece that Spielberg released with the lady that was the weather person. Was there, when you slowed it down or sped it up, there was a different message in there? Is that true?
And all that stuff.
There was an extra message within this trailer that was released. I saw that 2 days ago, and I didn't have time to follow up on it, whether it was real or not. But if you slowed it down,
was that, John?
The trailer that Spielberg released this week that millions of people have seen. Yeah, Disclosure Day.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see it.
I'm gonna have to look into that now.
So, because here's the thing, right? Some people, and again, it's conspiracy, but they think that next year is going to be something, but that more people believe it's going to be a false flag, not a real event, that's going to be tied to this movie coming out. That this movie is going to get
technology for years. You're right on spot on. That technology was actually used by commercial companies. Like you would get a subliminal message that would flash real fast on the screen. Let's say you were watching Coca-Cola commercial.
Yep. It
would flash by Coca-Cola. And so when you went to the store, subconsciously you would pick up a 6-pack of Coca-Cola. And a lot of commercials had that in there.
They came out with a
buy potato chips, buy Frito-Lay's potato chips, buy this, buy that. And you're wondering, geez, why do I need a 6-pack of Coke?
I will say this, guys, because we're getting close to end of time. You know how people say next year is the year of disclosure, the hearings. I heard that last year for this year. I'm sure we'll hear it from a lot of those people out there saying it about next year. I call bullshit on it. It's about a bunch of nothing. I am not into these hearings. We're not going to get any relevant information from these hearings or people stating things, whatever they say. Ooh, look at this guy. He's a former admiral. He's saying this without evidence. Bullshit. I'm tired of it. That's just my own personal opinion. I know you guys pretty, because we're reaching the end of this year. 2026, anything you think? Real?
No, I don't necessarily mean it's going to be tied to disclosure. I mean that this movie's going to trigger, because think of this, okay? Several million people watched this trailer. Spielberg goes back. What was it? What was the other movie? E.T. and what was the other one? Close Encounter. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's speculating this movie's going to divulge something more, right? Now, some people are saying it's time travelers. Is where
I heard
hybrids, and I've heard time travelers too. So, but everybody's going to be hyped up about this.
Oh yeah.
So the point is a lot of people are starting to wonder if there'll be something after that movie comes out, because everybody's going to be hyped up about it. There will be a false flag.
Well, they'll also be hyped up on Spider-Man, Marvel, and all the other movies that people pay attention to. So I'm wondering if that's actually going to get the attention of the public in that way.
We'll find out. I know the trailer, several million people viewed it already.
Well, gentlemen, we're at the end of the show. Merry Christmas to all those out there watching. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Just a reminder, the final chapter will air on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, chapter 22. And on Christmas Day, 1 through 22 will run in its entirety, back to back. All the chapters are going to run together for approximately 7 hours, starting at 3 p.m. Christmas Day, which afterwards, the three of us hopefully will be coming together at 10 p.m. Eastern on Christmas night to do a live show, because at 10 o'clock Eastern, what happened with you, John?
That was 45 years ago. I went into the forest and had an encounter with what's been labeled a UAP now. So, and we're going to show some hypnosis.
Yes.
We're going to talk about 22, and then we're going to go into my experience that night when I went out there. So
Hey, let me just say Merry Christmas to all those in the chat. You guys have been wonderful. You've been loyal to us. We here really appreciate you coming in with all your great comments. And I just wanted to wish you all of the best of holidays. Stay safe. You guys are wonderful.
Merry Christmas, everybody. And come in on Christmas night. We got a few surprises.
Oh, yes. And before we leave, let's not forget the person behind the scenes that helped put all of this together, Keith Kerlock. This is his website, bcss.rocks, and also his YouTube page at Rose City Sound Project. Make sure to check that out. He is the man behind the scenes that made all of this come together and make it happen. So, on behalf of John Burroughs, Chris DePerno, and myself, all of you have a great rest of the weekend. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, and hopefully we'll see you on Christmas night live here, where John is really going to get into the Rendlesham stuff now. And I hope you enjoy Chapter 22. And if you have missed anything, the whole thing will air again, 1 through 22. No commercials. It'll run straight through on Christmas Day at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, until we see you next time, have a great night, and we'll see you then.